Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you lot are all doing well, friends. I really do hope that Thomas Tuchel's press conference has just ended. I'll talk about a couple of things he said. Also, I want to talk about Tammy Abraham and Armando Broja and Romelu Lukaku. We'll start off with Lukaku and we'll talk about the other transfer business and what Thomas Tuchel had to say about Tammy Abraham as well, which I found really interesting. And interesting the fact how he said it, to be honest. Oh yeah, do subscribe. Feel free to subscribe and hit the bell notifications icon and drop a like. First off, Lukaku. I'm going to show some stuff on the screen in a minute and go through some stuff with you. But first off, rather unsurprisingly, Tuchel didn't want to talk about Romelu Lukaku. Although to Sky recently, him and Timo Werner were pretty much talking really positively about Romelu Lukaku. In fact, Timo Werner was pretty much saying, yeah, I can't wait for Romelu Lukaku because it'll be really exciting for me to play off him, essentially. So, we know it's done anyway, but people are sort of talking about it. Not Thomas Tuchel, though. And let's start having a look at stuff. Dan McCarthy, my mate Macca, has connections with the club. He tweeted this Lukaku announcement. Chelsea ideally want Lukaku to attend the Super Cup. He was never going to start. Final, meaning an announcement prior is ideal. Of course, you don't want the cameras going on Lukaku sitting in the crowd when he has not been announced by the club officially yet. On the other hand, Messi's announcement tomorrow plays into the media marketing influence. Recent travel delays play a part too. CFC's media team are prepped. This is actually really interesting because Chelsea have spent best part of £100 million on Lukaku. Do you remember the media storm when Pogba returned to Man United? It was a huge campaign, Pogback. This could be like Romback, the same thing, the same kind of profile. A top 4 or 5 elite striker in the world coming to solve Chelsea's problems with unfinished business. The media team are rubbing their hands together with the kind of content they could put together to generate more revenue for the club, because it ultimately comes down to money, this sort of the marketing and the brand awareness of Lukaku to Chelsea, the transfer, and with Messi, Lionel Messi has transferred to Paris. That's the biggest transfer of all time, possibly. If you could talk about Ronaldo to Juventus and stuff, but Messi for me is the GOAT. Regardless, whatever your inclination is, this is a gargantuan, titanic transfer, and Chelsea don't want their record transfer announcement to get washed up in the Lionel Messi stuff. Understandable. All the traffic, all the the neutral footballing traffic will of course be diverted to Lionel Messi rather than there's nothing going on. Oh, Lukaku's gone to Chelsea, let's drive our attention and traffic over to there. So I can understand that. But Lukaku is a Chelsea player in days' time. It will happen. It is happening. In terms of the announcement, there's just a few problems there. But, we'll look back. It's trivial. It's interesting now from that perspective, but it's ultimately trivial. Obviously, keep it locked. I will react to the Chelsea announcement of Romelu Lukaku. It could even be this evening. And if it is this evening, I'll do a video. So make sure you have the bell notifications icon switched on here on Football Therapy. Right, let's talk about Armando Broja, because I haven't really reflected on his loan yet to Southampton. There he is. That's nice. Isn't he happy? He doesn't actually look happy. He looks pretty serious. This is a amazing loan. That's a nice kit. Look at that. Oh, look at that. I mean, maybe it's just me who thinks that. But this is an amazing loan because theoretically he is replacing Danny Ings. And Danny Ings scored so many goals for Southampton before his transfer to Aston Villa. So this is a massive loan for Armando Broja. If he gets minutes in the Southampton side, which you think he would do, hopefully, it could be huge for his development. Tino Livramento feeding Armando Broja goals in a Southampton team under a good coach in Ralph Hasenhüttl. Say what you want about him, getting battered 2 years in a row in 9-0. I mean, that is just like a recurring fever dream for him, isn't it? I mean, that is no good. The optics on that are, of course, awful. But the team itself, he wants to play a sort of relatively high-octane, exciting football. And it's a high level, man. We were talking about decent championship sides for Armando Broja, maybe a low league Premier League side. To be honest, on reflection, Southampton, considering they've lost Danny Ings and considering they've been generally on a bit of a downhill trajectory, they probably are going to be a bit of a low league Premier League side in reflection. But generally, their profile of being a mid-table Premier League club, it's an amazing loan for Armando Broja. And he's 5 million on fantasy football. So I think I'll probably be buying him. Although I have to figure out who I'm going to trade out from. Anyway, I digress. Armando Broja is a Southampton player for a season. I do worry that he'll do very well, and then Southampton will just buy him off Chelsea, and Chelsea will just they're so would sell him, wouldn't they? If they get a decent 20, 30 million, Chelsea would absolutely sell him. Anyway, from one striker to another, and Tammy Abraham, okay. Right. I want to talk about, I'll show you this, apparently he's agreed a deal, or Roma agreed a deal to sign the Chelsea striker. We're going to have a look at this Sky Sports article. Thomas Tuchel said in his presser just now, that Tammy's not happy, and we know that, but he didn't say I'm sure he'd prefer more minutes. He said no, he's been unhappy for the last half of the season, and you can understand that. And he said things like, what does he want to do? Does he want to make the decision to try and fight his way back in the team from where he is now? And he was very clinical, saying, look, I can understand why he wants to go. He's unhappy. And without saying it concisely, he is basically saying, I just don't fancy this guy. This guy isn't in my plans. And he's trying to be really amicable and diplomatic, and fair play to him. He's amazing at doing that, Thomas Tuchel. And regardless to your opinion about Tammy Abraham staying at Chelsea or leaving Chelsea, the way Tuchel has composed himself for his beliefs and his methods is fine. A lot of people don't know how he treated Tammy Abraham in terms of freezing him out of squads, but I'm sure he had his own tactical reasons. Certainly, I don't think he's got any beef with Tammy Abraham. Tammy seems too much of a positive guy. Tuchel seems too measured, and it literally just looks like he doesn't fancy him. Roma have agreed a £34 million deal to sign Tammy Abraham. Jose Mourinho wants Tammy Abraham. £34 million is very good. What's that, €40 million? Considering he hasn't been playing, and he'll have 2 years left on his deal, 24 months left on his deal, not really been playing, £34 million for a striker who scored 15 Premier League goals. It's kind of like, Danny Ings went for 25 and he scored 25 Premier League goals. But, there's more to it than that, isn't there, because of his age and stuff. The 23-year-old striker must now decide if he wants to join the Italian club, who are managed by former Chelsea boss Jose Mourinho, fellow Serie A and Atalanta, fellow Serie A side Atalanta, and Arsenal also interested. So personally, if you watch Football Therapy, if you watch my content, you will know that personally, I would prefer him to go to Atalanta, because I think that's a really exciting, entertaining footballing side, Champions League side, score loads of goals, play a three-back system, which he's been playing for a bit at Chelsea. I think it's actually an excellent move. Reports kind of suggesting he's not that interested in Atalanta, which for me is mental. Maybe he likes the idea. Jose Mourinho might have got in his ear. Jose has a way of convincing players to come and play for his side. Remember, Jose Mourinho convinced Lionel Messi to sign for Chelsea, and it was that deal collapsed for a bunch of reasons. But when Jose Mourinho gets in your ear, the players listen and they respond. And Tammy Abraham might have done that. But wait, there's more. Latest transfer news. Lukaku, London to finalise. Belgium is the perfect centre forward. I believe there is a bit here on Tammy Abraham. Here we go. Yeah, this is what I want to look at. Arsenal could swoop in for Tammy Abraham, despite a deal being agreed with Roma. As reported by the Metro, Arsenal could make a deal from Roma. Arsenal could take the deal away from Roma despite a transfer being agreed. Abraham has accepted personal terms with the Gunners. Abraham has strong links with the North Londoners. Yeah, his family are all Arsenal fans. And he idolised Thierry Henry. That is the most regurgitated line ever. But yeah, I think he wants to go to Arsenal, despite having the opportunity to play for Atalanta, a Champions League team, join his best mate Fikayo out in Serie A and plays, learn Italian, play football, take in the culture, which would be nice. He wants to stay in London. I think he wants to play for Arsenal. I think there's a chance Tammy Abraham goes to Arsenal. So there's a few, Atalanta, Roma, Arsenal. There are teams that Chelsea could sell Tammy Abraham to. It's up to him now who he decides where he wants to go. So moves are being made. Loads of youths are out the door, now including Broja on a loan to Southampton. Excellent loan, if you ask me. And Tammy is probably next. And then, what does that leave us with striker? Lukaku, Havertz and Werner. And then you could play a false 9 system like Mason Mount with Ziyech and Pulisic. So there's many, many combinations that Thomas Tuchel will employ, and we don't need another forward once we've got Lukaku. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. There's a lot to talk about. But yeah, man, interesting to hear Tuchel's press conference comments, and interesting to read these news articles. Anyway, keep it locked. I can't talk, but I upload all the time. So yeah, bell notifications icon on, guys. And yeah, enjoy the football, and I'll see you soon. Peace.